calories just doesn't work for long-term weight loss success. We know this because that's why about 95% of diets fail. They all tend to just fall back on this idea of simply counting calories. Instead, focusing on the tools that actually help you to achieve sustainable weight loss, where you feel satisfied from your meals, where your body's naturally able to tap into fat burning, those are the types of tools that help you see long-term success. In fact, these are the tools that I use in order to lose 20 pounds postpartum after my first baby. So today I'm sharing 20 food hacks that have nothing to do with counting calories and can actually make your weight loss journey so much easier, healthier, and tastier. Let's dive into it. My name's Autumn. I'm a certified clinical nutritionist with my master's in nutrition human performance, and today's video is sponsored by Element. More on them in a bit. Okay, the first food hack is to add coconut butter to a smoothie. This is like my favorite food hack because it is so easy and it really helps to boost satiety. And satiety is that sensation of feeling full and satisfied from your meal. It helps prevent snacking, it helps prevent hunger. Overall, just making it so much easier to actually maintain and achieve your goals. And coconut butter is different than coconut oil. It's not just a pure fat, there's also fiber in there too. There's also a tiny little bit of protein, but not much to really matter. And I found it's weirdly so much more satiating than almond butter and peanut butter. I'm not the only one too. I've heard people in the AN community mention this. Katie on the AN team has also mentioned this. Maybe it varies from person to person. Maybe it's because coconut butter also has medium chain triglycerides. Either way, I've just found adding in 1 to 2 tablespoons of coconut butter into my smoothie makes me feel so full and satisfied. Okay, the second food hack is to drink water before your coffee. Drinking coffee first thing without having any water can just cause further dehydration, which can then just further make us feel more tired throughout the day. And when we feel tired, we're more likely to crave sugary sweet treats in order to get a little boost of energy. So instead of just immediately reaching for coffee, just try having even 8 to 12 ounces, like 1 good glass of water before you have that coffee, and you'll feel so much better. Okay, the third is making collagen gummy bears. It's more like gelatin gummy bears, but these are essentially healthy gummy bear alternatives, especially if you're somebody who likes to have like that chewy little treat. It's also a great healthy snack alternative for kids. And it's a sneaky way to add in a little bit of collagen in the form of gelatin. You just mix 1 cup of fruit juice. I like to use tart cherry, but really you can use pretty much any type of fruit juice. And then you add in 1/2 cup of water and 1/4 cup of lemon. You do all this without adding any heat yet. You do have the option to add in like 1 to 2 tablespoons of honey, but you don't have to do this if you're trying to keep it lower sugar. And then just sprinkle on 3 tablespoons of grass-fed beef gelatin, which is similar to collagen, just a little different. Regular collagen will not work, so make sure that you actually get gelatin. Otherwise, it will not form that like jello-like consistency. You let that sit for 5 minutes. This process is called blooming the gelatin. And then you just turn heat on really, really low and mix everything together just until everything's liquefied, and then immediately turn it off. From here, you can pour it into like a tray and then cut it up into little cubes if you want to make your life easier. I like to put them in these little gummy bear molds because it's just super cute. It does take a few extra minutes, but it's honestly worth it. It's so cute. Then you just let it sit inside of the fridge for a few hours and it's done. Okay, the fourth food hack is to use iceberg lettuce for a lettuce bun. This is so important to make sure you actually enjoy your burger, because for the longest time I was using romaine lettuce and it would get soggy and it would just get kind of gross and just give lettuce buns a bad name. Whereas using iceberg lettuce, just chopping off the edges to use it as like the top part and the bottom part of the bun, it actually holds up to the heat of the burger. It can actually contain a lot of those toppings and you get a nice, really satisfying crunch. It seriously makes all the difference and makes it so you'll actually enjoy your lettuce bun burger. Okay, the fifth is to use nut milk instead of coconut water in a smoothie. Now, coconut water does have natural but higher amount of sugar. It has anywhere between 10 to 20 grams of sugar per 8 to 16 ounces. So if you're not carb sensitive, if you're really active, it's probably not an issue. However, if you are carb sensitive, if you find that you do have a difficult time with sugar, then using a nut milk, an unsweetened nut milk like almond milk or coconut milk or hemp seed milk would be a much better zero sugar alternative. Okay, number 6 is to use cauliflower for your mashed potato. Now, before you give an eye roll, seriously, you need to give it a shot, because when you actually add in some Parmesan and some butter and some salt, oh my gosh, it is so good. This is what I do with my shepherd's pie recipe. I use like a cauliflower mashed potato on the top. It is one of like my top recipes on my blog. I'll have it linked down in the description below. It's so good. My mouth's watering. You just need to try it. Okay, number 7 is to use sparkling water mocktails. So if you are looking to achieve a weight loss goal, you might be looking to reduce or cut back on your alcohol intake. So you might be thinking like, okay, I'll have a mocktail. However, a lot of the mocktails that you can find are going to be really loaded with sugar, like like more sugar than if you're to just actually have wine or beer. But instead, you can make a lot of DIY lower sugar mocktails by using sparkling water or sparkling water types of drinks as the base. So I like to use Topo Chico or Spindrift. I've even used kombucha before, especially if you want to make like a Moscow Mule type of situation with the gingerade one. Something else I've done before is made a Paloma with Element's grapefruit salt electrolyte, which I also have to give a huge thank you because they are today's sponsor. Element is an amazing electrolyte company that was specifically created with intermittent fasting, low carb eating, and athletes in mind. It contains the sodium, magnesium, and potassium to help balance out electrolyte levels, all without having any sugar, which is why it's really great to actually use for different mocktail recipes too, because they come in a lot of different flavors, like the grapefruit salt, which is so good. It's my all-time favorite. But they also have lime and raspberry and orange. It tastes so good and actually makes getting your electrolytes in so much more enjoyable. Whether you're just drinking it on its own in some water or if you're making it into a mocktail, Element tastes great and can actually get you hydrated in the process. In fact, when I was previously just using salt for my electrolytes, I found that I was so much less consistent because it did not taste nearly as good. I didn't look forward to it the way that I actually look forward to Element, versus now I'm so consistent with taking my electrolytes so that I actually get the benefits of proper hydration because I legitimately enjoy the taste. And right now, Element is offering my viewers a free sample pack with any order. That's 8 single-serve packets free with any Element order. It's a really great way to test out all 8 flavors, so you can get yours at drinkelement.com/autumn. It's only available through my link, so make sure to check out drinklmnt.com/autumn. The link is also in the description down below. Okay, the 8th food hack is to use jicama, lime, and tahini. You can use this combination in place of using like tortilla chips if you're having salsa or guacamole. It's crunchy, it's light, it's flavorful. You can buy jicama pre-sliced, or you can just like get the actual jicama itself and slice it up yourself. However, it is so important to note that jicama does go bad very, very, very fast, so make sure that you're using it right away. Okay, the 9th food hack is to use more lentils. Lentils can provide a little bit of a protein boost, although it is not a high quality protein. It still does provide a little bit of plant-based protein. Plus, if you're actually having lentils with other higher quality sources of protein like cheese or meat, it does help to raise the overall protein quality of the lentils itself, so you do get a little bit more of a protein boost from those lentils. But on top of that, lentils are very rich in fiber, and they're also pretty micronutrient dense. A half cup of cooked lentils has about 50% of your daily folate needs. It also has about 25% of plant-based iron. I like to add lentils into a salad or into soup that also has other complete proteins. Okay, number 10, eat more artichoke hearts. Speaking of high fiber, artichoke hearts are insanely high in fiber, which is so important for satiety, but also for liver detox too, specifically phase 3 liver detox. You can get regular canned artichokes in water, or you can get it marinated in different oils with like garlic and seasonings. Oh, so good. I like to top it on salads or with like scrambled eggs. Really, you can't go wrong. Okay, number 11 is to mix eggs with cottage cheese. Now, eggs on their own, very micronutrient dense. They also are a good source of protein and high quality fat. They are so satiating. It's one food that's been studied to show to really prevent hunger later in the day. However, eggs on their own are not going to be the highest source of protein. I usually aim for about 30 grams or more protein per meal, and even eating 3 eggs, you're only getting about 18 grams of protein. So what you can do to counter this is to scramble in or top on a half a cup of cottage cheese, which helps to make up that difference of protein. It also adds this like really nice cheesiness to scrambled eggs, so you just add it in when you're actually scrambling up the eggs before you go to cook it. It's honestly so light, fluffy, cheesy, delicious, so good. Okay, number 12 is to use spiced ground meat instead of sausage. Now, I love sausage in recipes. It does add a lot of flavor, and having it on the occasion as your main protein is fine. However, having it consistently as your main protein is not actually going to cover your protein needs because it is a lot higher in fat than it is going to be in the protein it provides. Typically, one of those larger sausage links only has about 9 grams of protein, so you would need to eat like a lot of those sausage links. So instead, what I'll do on a more consistent basis is use like ground beef and add this sausage seasonings onto the ground beef, so you still get a lot of the same flavors but a lot higher protein. I did this with one of my soup recipes on my blog recently. I'll also have it linked down in the description below because it has also been a huge hit with the community. Okay, the 13th hack is to use spaghetti squash instead of pasta. This is a great low glycemic load alternative that's also more micronutrient dense than just regular pasta. It is a bit annoying to cut and cook though. So one little hack is to make sure that you choose smaller spaghetti squash because they're so much easier to cut into, even if it means that you have to buy multiple spaghetti spaghetti squash, just make sure that you get the smaller ones because trust me, it'll save you so much time with cutting. Okay, the 14th are using black bean brownies. Now, if you have some type of dessert that you need to make for an event or just some occasion, try making black bean brownies. If you haven't heard of this before, it might sound very strange and absolutely disgusting, but it is really fudgy and delicious. You essentially are taking out the flour and using the black beans as the flour alternative, which again, I know sounds really weird, but it does come out tasting delicious. It helps to provide a lot more fiber, some protein, and it's so much lower glycemic load. Okay, number 15 is to use bell pepper instead of bread for a sandwich. This is something I did in a summer program a couple years ago, and it was a huge hit. It's one of those things where you look at it and you're like, that looks interesting, but will it actually work? Could it be disgusting? I don't know. And then you try it and you're like, oh my gosh, that actually is really good. And obviously it's a low glycemic load alternative to bread, so especially if you're on a weight loss journey and you are carb sensitive, it's a great swap. I'll have the recipe linked up here if you want to check it out. Okay, number 16 is to know how to make a good simple slaw. A good simple slaw is really versatile. You can put it on tacos to add a boost of fiber. You can make it as the base of a salad. I often like to pair it with like hard-boiled eggs or with tuna salad if I'm in a pinch. I've also found it's much more filling than other lettuces. My really simple cabbage slaw recipe is just taking any type of cabbage. It could be purple or green, some type of onion. It could be red onion, yellow or green onions, or even shallots if I have it on hand. Maybe a shredded carrot if I have it, and then just some olive oil, rice vinegar, and salt, and that's it. From there, you can add on other things if you want, but honestly, this is like 99% of the time what I'm making, and it still tastes so good. Okay, number 17 is to use frozen leafy greens in smoothies. So think of things like frozen kale or frozen spinach. Obviously, it's less expensive to go this way, and obviously it's not going to go as bad as quickly this way, but also there's a gut health benefit to this. Frozen leafy greens like spinach and kale have actually gone through some form of cooking before they're frozen, and cooking those greens a bit helps you break down some of those anti-nutrients, so you get more access to some of those nutrients you wouldn't be able to get to before. It also helps your body to actually break down those greens, so you don't get as much of the bloating that can happen. Okay, number 18 is to use pre-made enchilada sauce. So you can get pre-made enchilada sauce that's jarred or canned at pretty much any grocery store. And I love making my own enchilada sauce, but if I am in a pinch, I will grab one of these for making like a healthier Mexican bowl. All I do is saute some veggies like bell pepper and onions. I cook some meat, I add some beans, and then I pour the enchilada sauce on top and just let it all simmer for a bit to add the flavor in. Top that with guacamole, and I have like an enchilada style, healthy, nutrient dense, and protein packed bowl. Okay, number 19 is to use bone broth in chili. So bone broth is a whole food source of collagen. By using it, it helps to sneak collagen into your meal, and collagen when paired with other complete proteins like ground beef helps to make you feel significantly more full and satisfied. I'll usually add like 1 cup or so in a chili recipe, like my pumpkin chili recipe from my 21-day intermittent fasting program. Okay, number 20 is to add eggs to your avocado toast. I know this is like a very trendy breakfast. It's been a very trendy breakfast for a while now, and it does have some good quality fat in there, some fiber, which are all great. However, it is totally lacking in protein, which means that you are going to be feeling really hungry pretty soon. So you need to make sure that you are adding some eggs on there or some form of protein. And if you're ordering an avocado toast while you're out, I can almost guarantee that they also have at least some hard-boiled eggs or some scrambled eggs that you can ask for on the side to put along with that avocado toast. Which, speaking of that bell pepper sandwich recipe, it's one of 3 recipes I shared of 5-minute healthy recipes that will absolutely change your life. You need to check that out with this video right here. Also, if you're new to my channel and you love this science-backed information, make sure you subscribe right here. Come out new videos every Tuesday and Thursday. All right, guys, thanks so much for tuning in, and I'll see you in my next video.